Hello dear students. In the last session, we continued with history chapter number 1, that is historiography, development in the West. We learnt about two French philosophers. The first one was René Descartes and the second one was Voltaire. So let us continue with the chapter. In today's session, we are going to study about two German philosophers. The first German philosopher is George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, and in short we will call him Hegel. Now, Hegel believed in three things. First one, historical events must be portrayed in a logical manner. Second, these events have to be portrayed in a proper timeline, or he also said that timeline is an indication of progress. Obviously, जो भी सारे हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट्स हैं उनको एक प्रॉपर क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर में मेंटेन करना ज़रूरी है. दोज इवेंट्स दैट हैपेंड फर्स्ट हैव टू बी मेंशन्ड अर्लियर एंड देन दोज इवेंट्स दैट हैव हैपेंड लेटर. एंड थर्ड most important thing that he said was that history is bound to change over time when new and new evidences come forth. Don't you find this strange कि हिस्ट्री कैसे चेंज हो जाएगी जब नए एविडेंसेस आएंगे, तो हिस्ट्री कैसे बदल जाएगी. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जाम्पल. एग्जाम्पल इज ऑफ द ईयर 1939 and it is an example of Europe. In 1939, the ruler of Germany was Adolf Hitler, and another country towards the east of Germany was Russia, which at that time had become USSR or Soviet Union, and Joseph Stalin was the leader of the Soviet Union. Germany on one side had a nationalist government, Russia or USSR had a communist government. So people all over the world, they felt that yes, nationalists and communists, they are natural enemies of each other, तो इन दोनों देशों के बीच में भी एक enmity होगी. But that was not the situation. In 1939, there was a secret agreement between Germany and Russia. This was a 10-year non-aggression pact that was signed between the Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. And as per this pact, it was decided that both the countries are not going to wage war on each other for a period of 10 years. हालांकि एडोल्फ हिटलर ने विद इन 2 years ये नॉन एग्रेशन पैक्ट को तोड़ दिया और 1941 में हमला कर दिया रशिया के ऊपर, बट ये एग्रीमेंट हुआ था इन दोनों देशों के बीच में. इट वॉज अ सीक्रेट एग्रीमेंट. As per this agreement, it was also decided that when Adolf Hitler or when Germany attacks Poland, which was a buffer zone or a country which was between Germany and Russia, so when Germany attacks Poland, Russia will not do anything. In fact, after capturing Poland, Germany will give half of Poland to Russia just like that. In return, Russia will not attack Germany. But people of the world, all over the world, they were not aware of this agreement. Why? Because this was a secret agreement, and everywhere people believed that Germany and Russia, these two countries are natural enemies of each other. क्यों? क्योंकि एक में राष्ट्रवादी सरकार है, दूसरे में मार्क्सवादी या कम्युनिस्ट गवर्नमेंट है. So how did people come to know that there was such an agreement between Germany and Russia? Many years later, 1989 onwards, 1989, 1990, 1991 में finally सोवियत यूनियन पूरी तरह से टूट गया. It broke up into 15-16 different countries, and Russia emerged as the biggest country through the Soviet Union. Then all these documents came to the limelight, and then people all over the world, historians all over the world realized that no, there was a kind of agreement between Germany and the Soviet Union at that point of time, but it was a secret agreement. So after getting that evidence, the historical events or the way in which the historical events have been perceived, that thing has also changed. So that is what Hegel said, that history is bound to change, or the interpretation of historical events is bound to change once new and new evidences come forth. Now Hegel also gave a new concept, the concept of dialectics. अभी ध्यान से सुनना, क्योंकि dialectics करके 2 मार्क का एक important आंसर आपके सिलेबस में. Hegel said that every event हैज़ गॉट टू एस्पेक्ट्स टू इट. हर घटना के दो अलग अलग पहलू होते हैं. एवरी इवेंट हैज़ टू एस्पेक्ट्स टू इट एंड दीज टू एस्पेक्ट्स आर डायरेक्टली ऑपोजिट्स ऑफ ईच अदर. If you want to understand any particular event, it is very very important that you understand these two aspects also, these two opposite aspects. And analyzing an event by analyzing these two aspects or these two opposites, this method is called as dialectics. अभी इसका भी example देख लेते हैं because this is just theory. If you take theory with examples, then it becomes very easy to understand. Let's come to the year August 1947. क्या हुआ था? That was the month where ultimately our freedom struggle had reached its conclusion. Again, you can divide it or you can say there are two aspects to it. What was the positive aspect? Positive aspect was that finally, after 200 years of freedom struggle, after a movement that went on for almost 200 years, we won our independence. What was the negative aspect? क्या था negative aspect? That the country was divided into communal lines. East Bengal अलग हो गया, East Pakistan, North West part of India में half of Punjab, Western part of Punjab separated, बलूचिस्तान, सिंध, North West Frontier Province यहाँ से एक अलग देश बन गया, that is West Pakistan, and जो बच गया that remained India. So these were the two opposite aspects to it. The positive aspect was that we ultimately won our independence. The negative aspect was that yes, on the basis of communal lines, on the basis of religion, the country was partitioned. Hence, that is what Hegel said, that you need to understand a specific event, you need to understand both these aspects to it, and these aspects are going to be opposites of each other. Clear hai? This dialectics again is a very important 2-mark answer. Now, moving on to the second philosopher. His name is Leopold von Ranke and he belonged to the Berlin University. Now what did Leopold von Ranke said? Exactly what René Descartes said. René Descartes हम लोग ने previous session में किया था, जो first French philosopher था. Whatever René Descartes said, it was said by Leopold von Ranke, and he said, and he insisted on what? He insisted on analyzing the historical documents by proper evidence. He insisted that historical documents should be analyzed by proper evidences. Exactly what René Descartes had said. Now, another very important thing about Leopold von Ranke, that this particular gentleman was responsible for starting classroom teaching of history in schools and colleges. Initially, history was a subject only for research or for higher studies. जैसे हम लोग ने previous lecture में session में देखा है that 1737 Göttingen University was started in Germany, and then other universities started all over Europe. All major universities became important studies of history. At that time, history was a subject of research, but then this particular gentleman came and he said no, even in schools and colleges a separate subject called as history should be introduced. So you can say that this is one person who is responsible for the misery of so many students who have to compulsorily study history in schools. So this is one thing about him. And another very important thing about Leopold von Ranke is that his writings or his ideas or his teachings inspired nationalism in Europe. Nationalism जिसको हम राष्ट्रवाद कहते हैं, right? We need to understand कि यूरोप का नेशनलिज्म और इंडिया का नेशनलिज्म बहुत डिफरेंस है दोनों में. एंड दिस टर्म कॉल्ड एज नेशनलिज्म, दिस इज नॉट ओरिजिनली एन इंडियन टर्म, दिस इज अ यूरोपियन टर्म. So how different was the nationalism of Europe compared to the nationalism of India was that in Europe, nationalism aimed at creating different nation states on linguistic basis. यानी कि उनका राष्ट्रवाद भाषा के आधार पे अलग अलग देश बनाने का था. लेट 18th सेंचुरी में, अर्ली 19th सेंचुरी में जो भी यूरोपियन नेशन स्टेट्स थे उनके बाउंड्रीज काफ़ी अलग अलग थे. there was no nation by the name of Germany. In fact, what we know now as Germany, in that place you had around 30 to 40 different German speaking confederacies. Some were very small, some were huge, some were medium sized, and every German confederacy was ruled by a separate ruler or a separate king. The one thing common about all these German confederacies was that the people spoke the German language. So now these Germans, they started a unification procedure that फ्यूचर में एक जर्मन स्पीकिंग नेशन स्टेट होना चाहिए. तो वहाँ पे अलग से इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ जर्मन स्पीकिंग रीजन स्टार्ट हो गया और यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ जर्मनी करके इवेंट हो गया. सिमिलरली देयर वाज नो नेशन बाय द नेम ऑफ इटली. इटली एज वी नो इट टुडे was divided into 3 regions. Northern part of Italy was under the control of Austria. Central part of Italy was under the control of the Pope. Pope कौन होता है? The head of the Roman Catholic Church is called as the Pope. So Central Italian territories were under the control of the Pope. And entire South Italy and the island of Two Sicilies, they were under the control of Spain. So in this way, Italy was divided into different regions. People of all these 3 regions, they spoke the Italian language. They wanted to have an independent Italian speaking nation state. So again, revolution started over there. First North was freed from the domination of Austria. Then the southern Italy was freed from the domination of the Spanish. And then gradually North and South, they came together and they integrated the central part. तो इस तरह से भाषा के आधार पे इटली भी फॉर्म हो गया. During that time, there was no country by the name of Poland. That was also formed many years later. Country by the name of Greece, that was under the control of Turkey. The Ottoman Turks, they ruled Greece. तो Greek War of Independence हुआ था और अलग से Greece करके nation form हो गया. The nation called as Austria was called as the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Austria plus neighboring country of Hungary and plus territories of all small neighboring countries over there. That entire empire consisted of 9 to 10 different nationalities. यानी कि 9 से 10 अलग अलग भाषा के लोग उस स्पेसिफिक कंट्री के हिस्से थे. तो one by one revolutions occurred and one by one new countries were formed on the basis of language. तो ये यूरोपियन नेशनलिज्म था, ये यूरोप का राष्ट्रवाद था कि भाषा के आधार पे on linguistic grounds new nations were formed. India's nationalism is not like that, because if India's nationalism was based on language, तो India would have been divided into so many different nation states. India का nationalism क्या है या भारत का राष्ट्रवाद क्या है, ये हम आने वाले topics में करने वाले हैं. When we move on to the second chapter, when we take historiography in Indian perspective. Again, Leopold von Ranke, when this is concerned, Leopold von Ranke is a very important 3-mark answer. And when it comes to the first German philosopher which we did, Hegel का जो dialectics का part है, that again is an important 2-mark answer. Clear? So we will stop for the day. In the next session we will continue with the chapter. Thank you very much.